Today's Morning First Alert Weather Show is brought to you by Sam Bernstein Law.
Good Monday morning, Mid-Michigan. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro with a look at today's forecast, talking about some snow, and we're tracking another round of snow a little bit later on this week. That's expected to be around Thursday night into Friday. Still very much a wintry week that we have ahead of us here, but I think the big takeaway that you'll really notice here in the forecast and just as these conditions end up going along throughout the week here is that we do expect a bit of a milder week, at least milder when compared to last week. It just won't be quite as bitter cold, but we do expect 20s pretty much every single day for this week. So just something to keep in mind, still very much in the middle of winter as of right now. But I'll go ahead and first take you out to I-75 in Flint Township. This is with your Vehicle City Harley-Davidson and Wallside Windows camera. Taking a look there, you can definitely see where the snow is still falling as of now, and travel has been a bit slower as a result of this too. On the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler, we've had a fairly decent burst of snow that's moved through our southern counties, and this is exactly what we saw there on the camera in Flint Township. Some of this heaviest snow right now is going right over M15 between Otisville, Davison, and Goodrich, and that is heading towards Lapeer right now too, so that's indicated by the darker blue on the radar. But really from here, again, this snowfall is going to continue for the rest of the morning. By the afternoon today, we do expect our conditions to start to quiet down quite a bit. So these snowy conditions from the morning won't be around for the entire day today. I'll actually go ahead and move the radar back out to our full view of our area. You can see here how some of the snow is already starting to fall apart as well. So again, we're starting to really go into the closing stages of these snow showers, but it has been enough to bring about a fresh inch of snow to some areas, even a little bit more than an inch in some areas too. But with our road conditions right now, of course, quite snowy in some spots because of this cold pavement, so any of the snow that fell is able to stick pretty easily here. Zooming in towards the Bay region, this is where we are seeing some slower travel among other areas too, but there's definitely some indications here on US 10 near the Auburn area, also near Midland. So that's the business route that branches off from US 10 and goes in towards downtown Midland. That's also showing some slower travel as of now. And even as we move the map south, looks like M84, that's Bay Road, also showing some slower travel currently. I-75 all around Saginaw, 675 as well, and then even moving the map south on 75 towards Birch Run, and then even into the Flint area. You can see how really there isn't much green showing up on the map currently. And I'll take you right back over to that look at I-75 in Flint Township again. This is right near Miller Road. That's definitely being reflected of what we saw on the traffic map. So we do have cars going by. It's not a complete slowdown, but definitely going a bit slower than the normal pace that we see along that spot. And I can actually go ahead and move our cameras around just a little bit too. Let's try to take a look at a few other spots here for this morning with the snow. There's downtown Flint, that's right across the bricks there. You can see that snow sticking pretty easily to the roadway. There's I-75 in Birch Run as well, right at exit 136, and it does appear that leftmost lane, because that's a 4-lane highway there, that leftmost lane is snow covered currently. So just take it easy if you will be heading out there anytime soon. But as far as the snow goes, so again, we were talking about how the snow is expected to end around the late morning, pretty much right around lunch even. First Alert Hour by Hour does show this here at about 11 o'clock. We're seeing more of that heavy burst of snow that we've had moving through Flint, more into the southern thumb as of that point. And then as we continue to go forward from there, the afternoon, other than a stray flurry for the afternoon, we do expect really a quieter second half of the daytime here. But we'll still hold on to the cloud coverage even throughout the afternoon. And even as we go into tonight, also holding on to that cloud coverage. But tomorrow, a little bit of a change of pace as we do expect a few peaks of sun here and there. We'll also have some clouds moving in from time to time too. So we are calling tomorrow variably cloudy just as a result of that. But snow totals for the rest of this morning, again, there isn't too much snow left as of this point, maybe about another half of an inch for Flint or the Lapeer area. even Sandusky, just those spots where that heaviest burst of snow currently is right now. Really, we are on the tail end of this snowfall, so shouldn't be around for more than about another 90 minutes or so for the TV5 area. So the key takeaway here, again, just you'll have to take it a little bit easy if you have any travel anytime soon, but thankfully with temps in the 20s expected for today, road salt is going to be much more effective than it was last week, so we do expect road conditions to be able to improve a little bit quicker than compared to some of those days last week as well. But from here, as I was mentioning too, we just have, while still a cool week, at least not quite as cold as last week was. So we'll talk about that after the break. We'll take this quick break, and when we come back, we'll go ahead and talk about that. All right, welcome back from that break. So we are going to be tracking more 20s for this week as far as our high temperatures are concerned. So definitely a little bit warmer than it was last week, just not quite so bitter cold like it was many of those days. So at least a little bit of a change of pace as far as some of those temperatures go. That is something that I do want to point out to you in the forecast here. First, we'll actually start by talking about Groundhog Day. It is Groundhog Day today, and Punxsutawney Phil did see his shadow this morning. So that does mean we have 6 more weeks of winter ahead, at least according to Phil. And even Woody the Woodchuck here in Howell, a little more locally to mid-Michigan, also saw her shadow this morning too. So also just confirming 6 more weeks of winter. So it looks like really these conditions aren't going to be going anywhere anytime soon. But with the 7-day forecast, you can certainly see that too. So Phil is right, at least for this week for the time being. So we do have more 20s in the forecast, but we're still below freezing every day of this week. 29 on Friday should be the warmest day, and then right after that we actually have the coldest day on the 7-day forecast, 13 for the high on Saturday. So Saturday may end up feeling a bit more like last week, but you can see here during the work week itself, these temperatures just not quite so bitter cold. I wouldn't expect any sort of cold weather delays or closings like we saw last week for school. So I do think that that is more of a thing just really for last week, given those temperatures that we had. But really from here, the other main chance of snow this week is going to be on Thursday night into Friday morning. Could possibly have a couple of scattered snow showers even in the afternoon on Thursday, but really the main show there is going to be Thursday night into Friday morning. And I will say with that system right now, we're still a little bit too far out to really lock in some snow totals, but just given the amount of moisture that should be around at that time, we do have a general idea, and even what the models are saying too, that I would likely expect a couple of inches of snow, possibly about 2 or even 3 inches. I think it will be more than the snowfall that we've picked up this morning, but it still doesn't have any sort of appearance of being a major winter storm or anything like that coming through during that Thursday night to Friday morning time frame. So almost, if you will, kind of a run-of-the-mill system that we have for that time just for the snowfall. So again, that'll be Thursday night into Friday morning, then just really some isolated lake effect following that up on Saturday and Sunday. These cold temps, though, allowing the ice and allowing the snow to stick around. I know this was a great weekend here just previously for ice fishers and for snowmobilers and skiers. Heard a lot of folks really raving about these conditions that we've had, and I think that'll still be the case even as we go into this weekend too. It is looking good for that. As I was mentioning with our temps, so we are seeing more 20s for the week, which does put us a little bit closer to average for this time of year. Our average today is 29 in Saginaw, it's 30 in Flint, it's 26 in Houghton Lake. And we were actually talking about this last week too. We are technically at the coldest time of the year right now when you lay out all of our average temperatures over the course of the year. We're almost past the trough though. On February 5th, coming up at the end of this week, that is the first day that we actually see these average temps starting to climb slowly, and they'll keep climbing slowly for the rest of February, and of course even more so into March and April as well. So if you have been thinking about spring just a little bit, maybe that is just something good to hear here this morning, because again, we are almost through that trough. I know Punxsutawney Phil might not be bringing you the warmest vibes for today because of the 6 weeks of winter prediction, but still, again, from here, we are expecting our average highs, or rather the average highs will be slowly increasing for the remainder of the winter and the springtime. But really, that's about all we have for you this morning here with the forecast. Again, the big takeaway is just that this week, not quite as cold as last week, but it is still going to be cool. And if you do have any travel for the rest of this morning, you will just need some extra time out there. So I will show you that traffic map one more time before I leave you here. Again, just showing that really all around the Bay region, we do have slower travel currently. Up into our northern counties, actually not going quite as slow there. Of course, there are some slick spots, but as on a widespread basis, it does look better. And then if you're traveling around Flint or Genesee County this morning too, you are also going to have some slower travel. So just something to keep in mind as of now. And seeing a comment here on the Facebook stream from Pamela Yanglin. Why all the snow, roads are very slick and it's still cold. Unsure what your comment is saying there. Yeah, and Christopher, I'm seeing Christopher right now asking, can you do the hour by hour again? Yes, I can take you to the hour by hour. Let me pull that right back up on the screen. So this is the hour by hour starting right now. So we have our snowfall that's still moving through. I'll even step this a little bit forward towards noon for today. So notice by about noon, we have the morning snow starting to leave the thumb, and then some flurries potentially trying to shape up to our west as we go into the afternoon. Some of these flurries are still going to try to be here for the second half of the day. That's about 3 o'clock today. We just have some very spotty flurries there on the map, but really generally from here we are just going to have more cloud coverage holding on for the rest of the daytime today. So Christopher, definitely it is going to be quieter throughout the PM hours for today. And then as we go into tonight, just holding on to more clouds, and then a mix of sun and clouds, or kind of going back and forth between cloud coverage and some sun throughout the day for Tuesday. Tomorrow, or rather Wednesday, is going to look just like tomorrow too, and then it will be towards the end of the week, Thursday night into Friday morning, where we have the next round of snow for this week. But if you do have any travel here, again, just make sure that you are taking it easy and that you stay warm as well. And I'll be coming up at noon today too for TV5 News at noon, right on air on WNEM. So we'll have another look at the forecast, the radar, and some traffic maps at that time too. So be sure to tune in at noon, and then of course catch Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick for all of the evening newscasts coming up later today. But drive safe, and I hope that you do have a great remainder of your Monday.